Take a look at this picture. What do you see here? I know, it's lame. Everyone's heard this before. To look at this glass half full, not half empty. But you know what? I can almost guarantee that 80% of you, despite how many times you've seen this, probably thought half empty. That's because statistically, 80% of your thoughts are negative, which, by the way, is 4 negative thoughts for every positive thought. That means from the second I showed this picture, you only had a 20% chance of actually seeing the glass half full. So why? Why do we do this? There's something called a negativity bias, wherein we tend to register negative stimuli more readily, but we also dwell on them more. We feel a failure more strongly than we feel a success. One study even found that children as young as 3 months old show signs of this bias. It goes back to evolution, wherein earlier in human history, paying attention to the negative in the world was literally life or death. If you were attuned to danger, you were more likely to survive. In a modern society where this bias is no longer relevant, it just causes us to be quite negative. But just like we evolved to pay attention to these things, we can evolve to appreciate the good in the world as well. We can change our perspectives. And it's really easy. You might not believe me, but it doesn't take much. It's as simple as A, B, C. No, really, I'm being serious. It literally only took the alphabet for me to start seeing things differently. So let me tell you how I got there. I used to go to a school with an amazing performing arts program. When I was 14 years old, my circumstances changed and I moved to a school closer to my home. There were definitely positives. Going from an hour-and-a-half bus ride to a 5-minute walk could only be good. But the downside, my new school didn't even have a drama class. As a highly dramatic person, I wasn't thrilled showing up 2 weeks before course selection when every class I'd ever planned on taking didn't exist anymore. But there was one ray of hope: photography. So I wrote it onto my course sheet and handed it in without a second thought. 6 months later, class started, and we were immediately given our first assignment. Take 26 photos, one for each letter of the alphabet. It has to look like that letter without actually being that letter. I'm pretty sure I went home and said I was dropping the class. Like I said before, I'm dramatic, but my mom told me to stop digging my heels in and took me out to look for more photos. The night before it was due, I found the last letter, the ever-pesky M. It turns out that it doesn't show up in objects or in the natural world very often. All I really remember is how relieved I was to never have to do that project again. So obviously, I didn't love that project, but over the next little while, I started to notice things. The way a stick poked through a bundle of leaves, or the way if I angled my camera just right, I could use 2 leaves to frame the rest of the leaves in a photo. I realized I was noticing these things for a reason. Photography taught me, through the pesky alphabet project, to see things from a different perspective in life. I never would have seen a machine in my metalwork classroom as the letter B before this project, but now I do. Just like that, I started noticing how things in my daily life could make a good picture too. I finally understood the purpose of the project, and I started to appreciate it. It had taught me that there are different ways to see and understand life. You're probably wondering why you should make the effort to change the way you see things. So let me tell you why I did. What image comes to mind when you hear the word birthday? Do you think decorations, cake, candles, balloons, family? Whatever comes to mind, I'm sure it evokes positive emotions. Birthdays are so much fun. But last year, something almost ruined mine. Last year, I got into a car accident. I was in the passenger seat, looking out the window and thinking of taking a photo, when suddenly I was jolted forward as a car hit us from behind. Luckily, my dad and I were okay, or at least I thought we were. I had actually sustained injuries throughout my body. Nothing severe enough to land me in the hospital or in a cast, but bad enough that I wore a wrist splint for months. I couldn't do basic things for myself, like opening a water bottle or doing my hair. I still can't write on paper. My hand can't handle the pressure. For a highly independent person, it was a major blow. Despite the changes, I was determined to have a good 16th birthday. I knew things had changed. There was a lot I couldn't do anymore, but I still wanted to have fun. So on a cold November day, I rushed downstairs eagerly to cut my birthday cake. As I cut down into the cake, my hand got stuck and the knife got stuck in the cake. My hands were so weak, I couldn't pull the knife out. I wanted to cry. I'd been trying so hard to stay positive, to heal, to act like nothing had changed. But in the one moment it was all supposed to be good and happy, it felt like everything had crumbled down around me. It was a cruel and painful reminder of just how much I couldn't do yet and how much help I needed now. But then I took a second look at the cake, and a third, and I realized it looked kind of cool. I grabbed the nearest phone on the table, told my parents to just wait 1 second, and I angled the phone for the perfect photo. So here's the photo. To anyone here, this is just a knife and a cake that looks kind of cool. But to me, this is a reminder that even the difficult moments aren't so bad. Photography helped me to shift my perspective, to notice the good despite the bad. In a hard moment, I got a cool picture. It made it positive. Now I look at this picture and I don't focus on how hard the accident's been. I focus on what I've been blessed with. Sure, I can't write on paper, but I have a friend who takes notes and sends them to me. I can't stack a chair, but I have friends who stack mine for me at the end of the day. I can't clean a bathroom, but I have a little sister who will do it, and joke that it's my responsibility forever once I'm better. And I can't cut a cake, but I have 2 parents who will rush over to do it for me and fall over themselves making sure I'm happy. I'm so blessed. And things like photography help me shift my perspective and see it that way. This is why learning to change your perspective matters. It takes you from being upset over something you have no control over to appreciating what you gain from it. It creates appreciation where there was devastation. Photography helps you to see things from a different perspective and change your mindset to see more than one possibility in a situation. It can also help us to build empathy, understanding, problem-solving skills, and create personal growth, enriching our lives and relationships. So I'm going to challenge you to change the way you see things. If you want to try how I did it, take out your phone, open your settings app, scroll to camera, and toggle on the grid setting. You're all set to be an amateur photographer. You'd be surprised just how much your perspective changes when you're seeing it through a new lens. If you don't want to take photos, there's so many other things you can do, and all it takes is a quick Google search. You can keep a gratitude journal, or download a self-care app, or exercise, or do acts of service. There's so much to gain. Reframing your perspective can reduce stress and anxiety, improve your optimism, and improve your mental health. Take that, negativity bias. So try to make more room to see things from a different perspective in your life. And the next time you see this picture, I hope you see the glass as half full. Thank you.